Marin Solis had taught difficult students before. Rowdy teenagers on Earth, distracted college freshmen, even a prison education program. Once. But nothing, absolutely nothing had prepared her for teaching the cubs of the Carvathi Empire. The job posting had been straightforward. Human tutor needed for adolescent Carvathi. Excellent pay. Cultural exchange opportunity. What they hadn't mentioned was that Carvathi cubs were apex predators in training, each one standing nearly 7 feet tall with obsidian scales, retractable claws, and enough natural weaponry to tear through reinforced steel. And they were children. Miss Solis. Why do humans cry? Asked Rav Vek, the smallest of her 6 students, his golden eyes blinking with genuine curiosity. Marin smiled, adjusting her tablet. Because we experience strong emotions, Ravek. Joy, sadness, pain. Our bodies release tears as a response. But crying makes you vulnerable. Another cub, Thessa, interjected. It clouds vision, announces weakness. For humans, it's also cathartic. It helps us heal emotionally. The cubs exchanged confused glances. Emotional healing was not a Carvathi concept. Their empire had conquered 17 star systems through pure martial prowess. Weakness was death. Strength was everything. Yet here sat Marin Solis, soft-skinned, clawless, barely reaching their chest height, teaching them human literature, philosophy, and history. The Carvathi Empress herself had commissioned this program. Convinced that understanding humanity's unexpected victories against superior forces required studying their culture directly. 3 months in, Marin had made remarkable progress. The cubs no longer practiced combat stances during her lessons. They'd stopped sharpening their claws on her desk. Ravek had even started writing poetry, though it mostly involved elaborate descriptions of battle glory. Then came the day everything changed. Marin was midway through explaining Earth's World War II when the classroom's communication array crackled. The voice that emerged was cold, mechanical. Human educator Marin Solis. You have been identified as a witness to Carvathi military operations classified under Imperial Seal Omega 7. Per Galactic Council Regulation 44 Alpha, you must be transferred to neutral custody for interrogation and potential memory wipe. The color drained from Marin's face. She'd accidentally accessed a restricted file last week while preparing a lesson on military strategy. She'd reported it immediately, but apparently, that wasn't enough. Transfer will commence in 20 minutes. Do not resist. The communication cut off. Marin's hands trembled. Memory wipe. She'd heard the horror stories, personality erasure, cognitive damage, some people never recovering. She looked at her cubs, who had gone completely still. Miss Solis? Ravek's voice was small. They're going to hurt you. It's protocol. She managed, trying to sound calm. I'll be fine. Liar. Thessa stood abruptly. Your heart rate increased. Your pupils dilated. You're experiencing fear response. All 6 cubs were standing now, their postures shifting from students to something far more primal. Defense mode! Ravek roared suddenly. What happened next would later be described in Galactic Council reports as the most disproportionate security response in recorded history. The cubs moved with synchronized precision that would make veteran soldiers weep. Thessa sealed the classroom doors, welding them shut with a plasma torch she produced from somewhere. 2 others, Korin and Siv, began dismantling equipment, fashioning barricades and weapons with terrifying efficiency. What are you doing? Marin shouted. You'll get in trouble. They want to hurt our teacher. Ravek growled, his voice deeper than she'd ever heard. Unacceptable. Within minutes, her classroom transformed into a fortified war chamber. The cubs created multiple defensive layers, installed sensor jammers they'd apparently been hiding in their backpacks, and established overlapping fields of fire. Ravek positioned himself directly in front of Marin, claws extended. This is insane, Marin protested. I'm not worth. You taught us about the Alamo, Korin interrupted. About Thermopylae. About humans who stood against impossible odds to protect what mattered. You said courage wasn't the absence of fear, but acting despite it. We learned, Miss Solis, Thessa added. You're part of our pack now. We protect pack. Tears streamed down Marin's face, those useless, vulnerable human tears that announced weakness. But the cubs didn't see weakness. They saw their teacher, frightened but standing. And something in their genetic code, their warrior culture, their young hearts recognized honor. The Galactic Council enforcers arrived with full tactical gear. They found 6 adolescent Carvathi operating with such lethal coordination that the enforcers' commander immediately called for backup and requested negotiation instead of breach. The standoff lasted 4 hours. It ended when Empress Carvathi herself arrived, scales gleaming with fury, not at the cubs, but at the council. She'd reviewed Marin's case personally. The file access was accidental. The information already declassified. The memory wipe. Completely unnecessary bureaucratic overreach. My cubs have shown more honor in 4 hours than your council has in 4 centuries, the Empress declared. The human stays. Under Imperial protection. Anyone who disagrees can face me personally. No one disagreed. Later, after the enforcers retreated and the classroom was being repaired, Ravvek approached Marin hesitantly. We scared you, he said quietly. When we went into combat mode, Marin knelt to his eye level, still crying, now from relief and overwhelming emotion. You saved me, Ravvek. All of you. You taught us that strength protects those who cannot protect themselves. That honor means standing when it's hard. That pack family matters more than rules. His golden eyes met hers. You taught us to be more than warriors. You taught us to be human. Marin laughed through her tears, pulling the massive scaled cub into an embrace he tolerated with surprising patience. Best students I ever had. From that day forward, Galactic military academies studied the classroom war chamber incident as an example of perfect tactical execution under pressure. But Marin knew the truth. Her cubs hadn't become human. They'd simply learned what humanity had always known. That the most powerful weapon in the universe wasn't claws, or scales, or plasma rifles. It was caring enough to fight for someone who couldn't fight for themselves.